Welcome to Grawlix Nights, the Grawlix Podcast live show. I'm Randy.
I'm Melanie.
And I'm Jesse.
Hey everybody, what's going on? Tonight, we're going to talk about Mandalorian and maybe other things. Definitely other things, but
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely what those things are, maybe you decide.
Maybe we'll talk about the 80s classic Rain Man. Definitely.
Definitely? Okay.
No, I don't know. That's just the thing he would say. Yeah, definitely Night Court.
But first, before Night Court, there's a new Night Court, isn't there?
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
Interesting. Night Court, I've told the story, scared me when I was a child. Their Halloween episode, horrifying.
Wow. Wouldn't have thought.
In retrospect, probably wasn't horrifying, but I remember it scared me. But first, how are you two?
I'm okay.
Yeah, good.
Good.
Real quick, when I was little, I used to pretend to fall asleep so that my parents would just leave me laying there so that I could watch Night Court sneakily. And
That's funny.
And then I'd go to bed.
I don't have any fun Night Court stories. I watched it, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I could be wrong, but I feel like Night Court was on late enough.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like my dad used to work a job where he'd come home late evenings, and when he was working, I could stay up and watch Night Court. Otherwise, I probably had to be in bed.
Yeah, I think it was at like 10 or something. It was like
Yeah.
late.
Or maybe that's why I remember the Halloween episode specifically, because it's Halloween time, right? You could be up late on Halloween. And that's why Halloween is the best.
If you're watching Night Grawlix, you're up late anyways.
Yeah.
You're right.
We'll be streaming until at least 10.
No, we'll wrap it earlier.
Yeah, like
We did-
9:30, 9:40.
We started late, so we're going late.
We did start pretty late. Maybe it's good we only really have Mandalorian to talk about. Which I guess I'll segue into like what we've been watching lately. We did watch, and Jesse, if you want, we can discuss it. We did watch an episode of The Last of Us, but we haven't watched the most recent episode, which I think is the season finale.
Yes. If you've got
we
one
watched
episode left, then that's what you got.
We watched the episode before where they ran into, or more, I guess I should say Ellie ran into that group of vengeful kind of religious group.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
the
yeah.
community.
That's
Yeah.
what we just watched.
Yeah, we watched that this week, and we didn't get a chance to watch the most recent one, so but I liked it. I thought that episode was great, and Pedro Pascal was like you're waiting for their like kind of father-daughter type moment, and you got it
Right.
with at the end. It's very nice, very sweet. I mean, it kind of, you had to go through some horrible stuff to get there, but
Right.
Yeah.
I wasn't really expecting it to take how can I put it, an assaulty vibe with the villain.
Yeah.
At the very end, I was like, that's first off, I mean, that's not proper. It's an understatement, but like it didn't seem like that's where they were going necessarily,
No, yeah.
but also like,
And then she
I mean,
snapped, literally and figuratively.
right? But also, like, you're in a burning building. Whatever. He didn't seem to be super grounded person.
I wasn't very surprised actually about the assaultiness because it was like a cult. He was the father or whatever, and
That's a good point.
That just tends to be the kind of thing that they do.
Wrong kind of daddy vibes.
Right. But yeah, it was a good episode, but we haven't got to watch the most recent one. I don't really have anything else that I can say I've watched because I've just still been watching a whole bunch of One Piece.
Yeah.
And nobody wants to hear us talk about One Piece.
There's somebody that does, but they may or may not be part of our audience because we don't usually talk about that.
And yeah, we don't angle for an anime crowd.
Did we talk about the new Punisher logo and how everybody hates it?
No, can you back out a little bit? Oh, okay.
You really can't see it.
Oh, the Punisher logo.
Yeah, the new Punisher logo, because I don't know. I've heard all sorts of differing opinions on what's going on there. But basically what's happened is Frank Castle is in charge of the hand ninjas.
Okay.
And so obviously his logo had to change and people be mad.
Really?
Yeah. Well,
I guess that's kind of iconic and it doesn't change.
Right. But it does change is the other thing. Like, it's not the same as it was on his first appearance, and sometimes it's just a skull. And granted, most of the logos that we see co-opted or used elsewhere is that really iconic 90s logo. I want to say that the Thomas Jane Punisher also has that.
Mm-hmm. Well, can't they just have a skull and then some little hands off the side and maybe little feet too? Because then it'd be like a cute little, a cute little.
Well, it's still a skull, Like the new logo is still a skull. It's just more like samurai like, and it makes sense because he's part of the hand ninjas. So, it makes sense within the storyline, and I'm not convinced that is a permanent change.
No.
Oh, is it okay? Let me here. Hopefully, there's nothing too untoward on this page, but let me pull this up. Since we are in a visual medium here, oh man, they're expanding the features here on this StreamYard quite a bit. So that's good, but it's also like, whoa, what's all this?
Where'd you put the thing that I used to use?
Is this what we're talking? Is this what we're talking about here?
That's the new logo.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
and look, he's got a sword instead of a gun. So, and his eyes are glowing. So clearly, there's something going on with the Punisher.
Yeah.
That guy that they literally turned into a Frankenstein once.
Yeah, it's fine. I don't, as a design versus. I'm not wild about it, but it's also it's a comic book character's costume. They those go through changes quite often.
Right. It's not my favorite. It's not my favorite Punisher logo ever, but also
It's fine.
I don't hate it as a story beat thing. Remember when Superman split into two different parts and one was red and one was blue and he had electric powers?
No.
And how permanent that was? How forever that was?
Yeah.
Right, most people won't even know what you're talking about.
That's
how permanent it was.
That's how much of a blip it was. It was ridiculous,
Yeah.
It was a full-on costume change for about a minute.
We can't. Can we talk about the cops who really love that logo? Let's not.
Well, so that's why they're mad, is they think it's because of that. Because the cops who love that logo have kind of co-opted it to mean almost something different.
Well,
but
it
not.
should, because hopefully it's not vigilanteism that they're supporting because they're the cops.
Right, yeah, right. You're not the Punisher, dude.
Right.
The Punisher is a bad guy.
Right.
He just has his own title. And it's kind of ironic and not ironic and totally makes sense that he's working with the hand because the hand works for hell. He's literally sending bad people to hell. And it's like, you know what? That's right in with his MO,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Meanwhile, you got the tortured Catholic boy, Matt Murdock, who's working for the Fist of God, the Fist. And so now it's literally the forces of light and dark. Boom.
Remember when they were street level?
Yeah, there was street level. There wasn't all this cosmic / spiritual nonsense going on. But I have to say, and the reason that I brought this up at all is I've been reading it and I'm liking it. I like that Daredevil basically broke out a bunch of villains out of Rikers or some high security supervillain prison or something, and he's basically said, "Hey, you can join us or you can stay here." and he's like trying to rehabilitate these criminals, and in order to break them out, he had to like go toe to toe with John Walker, and so like he just trounces U.S. Agent and then takes his shield.
Nice.
And so like he's been carrying around the U.S. Agent shield. I think he's even he's even using it in this cover here. You can only see the silhouette of it, but like
Sure.
right there by the E, he's using John Walker's shield. It's pretty great.
Daredevil, I've read so little Daredevil, but I liked what I read a lot, and I feel like most of the time what Daredevil's doing would totally appeal to me.
Yeah, I think you dig this run because it's like it's got a lot of Stick, who is just a joy always.
Right.
He's basically become like he was always kind of that character anyways, but he's even more so that character that we grew to love on the Netflix shows. Speaking of which, they've been showing an awful lot of footage of Born Again. Daredevil Born Again must be starting principal photography, at least shooting.
Right. Hey, Melanie.
Yeah.
This is behind the scenes stuff for Inside Baseball. Is it better now?
Yes, much better. No, much
Okay,
better.
can you still hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So she messaged me and said that I should mute myself when I'm not talking because my breathing is coming through a lot. But I also had like some compression going in the background or on the audio because I'm always worried about my volume not being loud enough. But the compression does the thing of like, it lowers the highs and brings up all the lows. So I'm like,
You can hear every breath, and it's
I mean, I am a bit overweight, so like, so whatever. Hey, viewers, welcome.
welcome to the Snorecast. We're overweight and nasally.
It's not because it's boring; it's because we snore while we're awake.
Yep.
Man, I need to get back up on some comics. I was slowly catching up on Batman, but it's been a few weeks since I opened any of those up again. But I need to, because I like what it was doing. But like, I'm still so far behind. It's not really worth even talking much about. You know, it's not really relevant.
Well, speaking of books you might like, I'm also reading Legion, Son of
Ooh.
X. And
Nice.
that's been interesting and fun because you get to see basically David, that's Legion's real name, is like trying to kind of keep all of his personalities in check. So he's created almost like a mental prison for all of his personalities, but they eventually break out, kind of thing. Of course, because a Legion book is not fun if he's just got it all together.
Right.
Right.
So I've just kind of started that, and it's been pretty fun. And then the other thing that I finished, and I think I mentioned on here, was I finished The Last Ronin, which is a TMNT book where it's like all the other brothers and Splinter have died, and so there's just one left, and he's basically going on a revenge mission, a suicide revenge mission to, basically get vengeance for Clan Hamato against the the Oroku clan. See, I get it confused. I get it backwards.
Hey, you were talking earlier about the foot works for, I mean, the hand works for whatever, and the fist works for. So who does the foot work for?
So, fun fact. Oh boy, this is a rabbit hole. Fun fact, actually TMNT is a like spin-off parody comic of Daredevil. So that's why it's the Foot Clan. And that ooze that hits that radioactive chemical that hits Daredevil, which causes him to become blind, that also gives him his superpowers, is what falls into the sewers and turns a rat and some baby turtles into the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I love that it's totally an unofficial spin-off. They're just like, yeah, we're doing this.
Yep.
I guess, or parody, but
I almost picked up a variant copy because one of the future issues of Daredevil is done by Kevin Eastman. So that's kind of fun. I was like, do I really need that? I kind of want that, but I really don't need that.
So I know there's several TMNT like Batman crossovers and stuff. There has to have there been any Marvel, Daredevil TMNT crossovers
No.
where how
Marvel
has
is
there
picky.
not been?
Marvel is
Ooh,
picky. Yeah.
really?
Yeah, no, like all these other places have done it. Oh, they've done Ghostbusters and TMNT. They were going to do a He-Man TMNT, which that's DC. So if you've done Batman, of course you can do He-Man.
Right.
But no, I don't think they've done any Marvel that I'm
You're
aware
right
of.
about Marvel now that I think about it, because you get like a Batman Predator, Batman TMNT, but you rarely get any like
It's very rare.
they keep their toys in their own toy box, and they have enough. They're like crossover. We got that all day long, but it's their own properties.
And those crossovers are always the most boring. Like if you think about them, like there have been a few. Like there's been Batman, Spider-Man. There's been Batman
right,
and
right.
Daredevil, and those they're fine, but they're very like they're very locked down, and nobody really gets the better of anyone.
That's why stuff like that. Anytime it's big IPs, or especially if it's a big IP versus big IP, they can never really be great because neither side's going to want to they take themselves too seriously, their IPs. Neither side's going to want to look like their product's inferior, so they're not going to let anything really happen. It's a little bit the way I kind of view, even though they're under the same roof now, but like Freddy versus Jason, it's like, who wins? I mean, technically neither of them do, because of course not one specific one's going to win, but stuff like that.
Why don't they do crossovers as there's a bad guy that lives in both universes that they team up to get? Wouldn't that
They
make more
usually
sense?
do, but
Yeah,
even
right.
still, it's like What was it? In the Spider-Man but Spider-Man Batman, it's Carnage and the Joker, which you would think would be awesome, and it winds up being
Well, they just need to make a really cool bad guy that they can use in both worlds.
right.
But I think also, where that works well, something like, I guess it's good when, like, if it's, crossovers, some heroes that work together, whatever, that's fine. But like a Batman Predator, where it's the Predator, like,
Hunts people.
yeah, and it's the bad guy, and you don't have to worry about the Predator looking bad because it's the Predator. It's a monster. It's supposed to get killed.
Yeah. Batman versus Predator sounds awesome though, especially if it was off-world.
There's been a few, and I think we read one.
Did we?
Maybe I read one on my own time. I thought we talked about it on Grawlix. Maybe we didn't.
I didn't read that one, so.
You know what? That sounds like something maybe you would have talked to Covert Nerd about.
Oh, really? Okay,
'Cause
that could
would
be.
right up his alley. Yeah.
Really? Okay, that could be it. Yeah.
Can we? I don't know that anybody's here, but we should, since we were talking about it earlier, real quick, and we're on comic books, ask the chat if they know, or people who listen to it, if anybody does, about the difference between manga and comic books and their creator. Who writes them? If it's a single creator or multiples, like in English comic books.
First off, let it be known, we don't know Gits about
No,
Gits
we
or
really
manga in
don't.
general.
Or Wu-Tang.
But or Wu-Tang.
I looked
but
at my
what-
shirt to make sure I wasn't wearing that shirt. But
What inspired this conversation was I was, looking like something like Hunter x Hunter. I got into watch the anime, and then was like, oh man, I wish there was another season, but there currently isn't another season because the manga creator was having health issues, and so that the manga was like, it's one of the cases where the anime catches up to the manga and then waits, or whatever, or eventually gets canceled, whatever happens. But I was like, so it seems to me like manga seems much more singular creator driven. A lot of manga seems more singular creator driven product, whatever, than like American comics, where you've got it's usually a writer and an artist and their team, and they're potentially interchangeable, or like they could be switched out, or different teams come in depending if it's like a big property like a DC or Marvel owned thing or something. As opposed to like, the creator has horrible back pain, so he can't draw now. That means no more Hunter x Hunter for a long time. Like, it just seemed kind of odd to me. I mean, I guess it's more like comic strips, web comics. Those are usually much more singular creator, driven. If the guy happens to be kind of a horrible right-wing racist, you don't get any more Dilberts or whatever.
Right.
Whatever. Well, no, he's probably still making them. It's just nobody's running them anyhow. Not to get into that.
Newspapers, anyways.
No, not to get into that. But I guess maybe it's that. It could be more that. It's like manga's more of a, I don't know. I was just curious about that difference between that and like at least the wider comic book industry over here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if that was the norm there, or it was just that one that we like.
Because I would assume there'd be teams of people, and not that manga artists don't have individual specialized styles, but like especially it's like comic books over here where there is kind of like a baseline style, or there's different things where other artists can step in and draw without going too like
I think there's some
design.
good documentaries about this on HBO actually.
Really?
Like how Miyazaki, he's got a studio behind him, but it's his ideas. So in a sense, yes, but also it is one creator that is basically calling the shots. So like he's got a team behind him, he's got studios behind him, but nothing moves ahead unless he's kind of there. If that makes sense.
Studios in America, at least, I don't know about other places, would never let one artist have control of a character. They just wouldn't. So that's one of the differences, I'm sure.
That's a good point. Well, yeah, and I guess, I mean, it could be like the corporatization or whatever of the whole process. But I would think if, and maybe manga creators don't really, man, it just seems like manga and then also anime, which seems very kind of reliant on manga a lot of times, seems like a big industry to me. With like as much as there is, but maybe the creators don't really make that much. But I would assume, unless maybe he's just like, I like drawing it, I have to draw it, that if a creator was like, I can't draw, but maybe wanted to continue telling the story, was like, hey, assistants, here's a script, or here you do like quick storyboard, punch this up, make it nice. I don't know. I don't think we have any hardcore manga aficionados listening right now, so
I was gonna say, hey, AI chatbot, tell me what's the news.
That's actually not a bad idea. I should ask ChatGPT.
Right.
ChatGPT 4, blah, 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 something. I haven't really played with it. Is ChatGPT, are they just running off 4 now? Did they just like upgrade so when you log in it's 4, or is it still the old one?
I don't know what the difference is. I think
don't
I
either.
used the old one and it was really clunky and like hard to use. And this is like seamless. Like I asked it about pizza places today and it did a better job than Google Maps.
Yeah.
That is something I see a lot, because for the most part, my music Twitter account is nothing but AI art and AI news and stuff right now, like my feed.
Sure.
I don't know where the musicians went, but I slowly replaced them with AI artists. And no offense with that, but
Right. Yeah.
there are a lot of people who are like AI artists, and it's like,
It's
I'm
a
not gonna
lot
say anything.
more work than people give it credit for.
yes, yeah, for sure.
One of the things that I noticed that the new ChatGPT has, that also the new Adobe AI thing has, that I thought was awesome, was you can like hold up or give it a sketch, and then it'll make a thing out of that, and the ChatGPT one will do like website outlines or like you can give it an outline of a website and it'll do it for that too. And I thought that was pretty amazing.
Yeah, like the layout and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they expanded a lot, like being able to input images with ChatGPT 4, and then also it will eventually like be better about how it spits out code because they know people use it to generate code a lot. And a big thing that a lot of the newer companies who are also like, whoa, trying to jump on it as well is, yeah, being able to scrape web data, like live web data. Because for the most part, the chat models are trained on stuff that's like a year and a half old. It doesn't know anything of the world beyond a certain date type thing.
Right.
And so a lot of companies are trying to like jump on, but what if it did? So, yeah.
Well, Google just announced theirs, so I imagine it's off to the races now. So,
Well, Adobe, speaking of the art aspect, Adobe is, I guess, currently beta testing their Adobe Firefly, which is their version of basically text to image generation and stuff like that. I'm assuming it'll be integrated into their stuff like Illustrator and Photoshop. But I'm real curious to see the reaction when that comes out because it's trained on Adobe's own stock images. They own that, and public domain stuff. It's not scraping random artists' artwork who don't give permission, right? So I'm very curious as to if people will kind of drop the no AI art thing in that aspect or in that respect or whatever.
Right.
I kind of view it was going to be an issue eventually anyway, but I kind of view the like that seemed like an easy talking point to rally people against it, whereas I don't think it stealing people's art was a lot of the initial motivation for the people who really had beef with it. Is my suspicion anyway.
I don't know how much it does. Like it integrates it in like a new way.
Yeah.
So it's
It does.
hard. It's hard. It's like that's what artists do. Artists ape other artists' style all the time. That's what we're trained to do. We look at other art in order to make
Right.
art.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's exactly what the AI is doing.
It's never going to spit out a one-to-one copy of anything unless you work real hard to steer it to spitting out a close to one-to-one copy of something, in which case copy paste, man. Save yourself some trouble.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
They're not going, and that's kind of my beef, and I get that like it's a little bit different. It is a little bit different, but it's like I can copy paste an image off of Google, off of Chrome, paste it into Photoshop, save it as a new image, and then upload it. Nobody's going after Chrome or Photoshop or Windows.
There's people who steal art all the time, and they're a lot more efficient about it than using AI.
Right.
Right. Like you got to work
Yeah.
hard to get it to really rip something off like that. I think I get the people who have such a distinctive style, and if the style can be seen, but you can rip off a style and like
Yeah,
not
yeah.
necessarily get sued for it.
Right.
Right.
If anything, that's kind of like a court of public opinion situation where if somebody's ripping off somebody's style, they can't necessarily be taken to court, but the public can look at it and be like, you're kind of a hack. You're ripping this
Yeah.
guy off.
Yeah.
And that's what it'll be. I feel like it will be a matter of like, sure, anyone could create art now, and that scares people for some reason.
Well, I get it as an artist. Like I get that part of it, but it's a meritocracy kind of deal. It's like,
Right.
hey, do you want an artist that knows how many fingers are on a hand?
Well,
Then
and
hire me. I
Yeah.
mean, like you're just going to have to be good.
Right.
that's exactly the skill and the quality will rise above the rest.
Right.
The rest will be a little bit better than it otherwise would have been, and that's
Right.
not necessarily a bad thing. But like, you still will be people with imagination and talent and skill. Like, you'll still be able to find those people because they'll still be the ones, regardless of the tools available to everybody, producing the standout stuff.
And And as of right now, I mean, AI, as far as I know, can't put paint on anything. So, if you wanted like actual, like physical,
Right.
Art to hang up on your wall and have the brush strokes and all that stuff, that's not anything that a computer can do. Right
Right.
now,
We're
at
getting
least.
we're getting way closer to. I mean, I've been playing with it for months and months now. Is basically using the image generators for video stuff. But there's been a couple of text to video models that have been coming out lately.
I was gonna say, I bet you can create
They're getting-
3D printer models that you could, like,
Oh, yeah.
have 3D images of, but also, like, yeah, they don't have robots actually putting paint on a
Yeah.
canvas yet. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Although they do
I mean-
have, you see that one art thing where there's like a robot arm that will like every whatever seconds it'll like, I don't know, drop a drop onto some other thing that'll make some, I don't know. It's just ridiculousness, but it's interesting.
I mean, listen, if you thought a regular printer was a ripoff, or you try to build a printer that actually uses paint.
It's
That's
not the
gonna-
printers.
Right.
Printers aren't
It's
the
gonna be a
ripoff though.
pain.
It's the ink. The ink's
The
the ripoff.
ink, man.
That's
Imagine
true.
when that ink is acrylic or oil. Oh my
Right.
goodness! And you got to wait days for it to just dry that layer of oil paint. Oh,
Every time your paintbrush runs out of ink, you got to buy a whole new printer because good
Yeah.
luck finding
you
an
gotta mix
affordable
the
paintbrush.
linseed oil by hand. You're just like,
Right.
listen, to get the proper texture here.
Yep.
Anyway, I don't know. Whatever. I continue to be fast. It's moving fast again. I was really worried because it felt like in terms of the AI art stuff, I'm a fan. Okay, I'm a fan of the tools. It felt like it stalled out. And by stalled out, I mean there was like 3 months without significant improvement because lately it'd been like every day some new like amazing improvement,
Right.
or new tool or a plug-in for this or whatever for every day. Like it was kind of mind blowing. And then like the AI art is theft like big thing kind of backlash, and it just felt like it stalled. Everything stalled, and I was like, oh man. But the last
for
week
me-
or two, it's not even just the art stuff. It's like all the AI stuff. It's like, nope, it's churning again. It's
Yeah.
flying
It was
forward.
that vocal minority, I think, scared some people, but really,
Yeah.
that's what it is. It's like, I mean, artists are artists, but we're just a fraction of the population.
Well, and I can get some, I don't know. I get it. I do get it, but it's also like missing the bigger picture of the tools. And I know people are like, well, the tools. Yeah, but no, the tools are the thing. When you say no AI generated art, you're talking about the tools. You're not necessarily talking about the models or the methods or, what people choose to do with these things. And the tools aren't the problem. But there was AI animation has been kind of talked about recently because there was a Corridor digital video with
We
where
wouldn't
they
have
used
Spider-Verse, I mean, we
Right.
wouldn't have that. That is AI generative animation right there, and it was groundbreaking. And thank goodness we have it, because Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse was an amazing animation
Right.
piece.
Yeah.
Well, I watched a video and it was like an animator, like an old school. I don't know if he's a Disney animator or whatever, but industry veteran reacting to the Corridor video. Not they're on their own channel. They've done their own version of that, but it was just some guy that has his own channel, animator. And he's an old school guy. He's worked on like big Disney movies, like from back into 2D days, like before everything was digital anyway. And he was reacting to it, and he had some of this, of course, concerns about the artwork and people's jobs and stuff. But at one point, he's watching it, and he's like, I wonder if will it just apply the shading on the flat colors like that? That would save so much time. And I'm like, there you go. This
There it
guy's
is.
getting it.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
exactly it. Anybody anybody who knows what they're doing should be able to instantly see where this will save them so much time or how this could be so useful for this use case. And if you don't, you totally lack imagination.
Like spinning this back into the manga an anime conversation. The way that they do things in Japan, anyways, like if we don't get on board with this, they're going to use it.
Yeah.
They're absolutely going to use it. And I'm not saying that in like a xenophobic way. They've been using tools like this, like I don't even know what the word is for it, but like basically forms or whatever. Like they have like certain physical forms, and they just literally will use them and trace over them. Like they'll draw over them for poses and that kind of thing, you know? And it's just not even a thing over there. It was like, well, no, this just makes us more efficient.
Right.
And that's what they're going to do with this too, you know?
Yeah.
And that's how Sony used it in the Into the Spider-Verse movie. And I think it's just a game changer. And anybody that doesn't use it it's like he who hesitates is lost.
Right. We need to go on to the Mandalorian, because this leads into some of my stuff too, and I want to get to it, but I can't until we get through the Mandalorian. So let's go to the Mandalorian.
Mandalorian. So we caught up on, was it 2 episodes we were behind? I think
So. Yep.
Yeah, because your comment about Andor.
Yeah, that last
The
episode.
Mandalorian.
The
makes much more
Mandalorian
sense.
episode, it was like, whoa. It was like, we got maybe, I don't know, a little bit of time with the Mandalorian, and then boom, it was something else.
And I know when I watched like Book of Boba Fett and it basically switched to the Mandalorian for 2 to 3 episodes, I had no problems. And I don't have a problem with this, but it felt more jarring to where like suddenly
shift. Yeah.
And it feels so separate. Like it didn't tie. I'm sure it might tie in again later, but it didn't tie in to the Mandalorian story at all, seemingly. And I liked the whole sequence. It was really good. It was very on the nose with like maybe German scientists from a previous regime coming over to, whatever. With the round glasses.
As someone who's watching The Hunters, it was like, why is all my media about Nazis?
Yeah. So it was on the nose, but it was good though. Like, I liked that a lot. But it seemed more like it's super weird. It was a weird decision.
I think smart people need to be more cynical or something, because why is it always like some genius that like falls for the like most obvious crap?
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
I really like these rations, and they show up in a case on my doorstep, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I guess it's still kind of in line with Mandalorian, where it's like, let's take a somewhat genre cliche story. You know the story already, but it's in Star Wars, and it's good. So I guess in that sense, like, it fits Mandalorian perfectly. But it's still a weird decision. And then to follow up with the next episode, which is straight up Mandalorian stuff.
Yeah.
And it's a short episode, no less.
If nothing else, this was like, it had flashbacks and stuff to prequel scenes, and had there's all sorts of fun stuff in the most current episode. But like, like the Andor thing is such a tonal shift that it almost felt like a different show entirely, and that's why I kept thinking Andor. And I think it actually threw Holly off to be like, when is this? I don't know what's going on. How is this not Andor? And I'm like, well, actually, Andor is pre the original 3, but after the prequels. So it's like, it's Rogue One, but like she has a hard time placing Rogue One anyways.
When did
Grogu's flashback went to the same city, so maybe it is from the past.
Oh, it's Coruscant. Yeah. I mean, no, it can't be. So that can't be from the past, because we saw him before. He was one of the doctors involved in working on Grogu.
Oh, okay. Well, Grogu was in the flashback, so he would have been there back then too, right?
Well, no, it's.
Oh wait, no,
those flashbacks aren't. Yeah.
No, in the second episode, from Grogu flashback to the fight at the whatever, wasn't that
was
at that same
way
scene?
That was even further before, because remember, Grogu is like 50 years old.
Yeah, I know. That's why I was thinking.
But
maybe
this guy is not that old.
Right.
Like this guy was from like season 1, when they were like, "Show me the baby."
Right.
You're right. Why?
That's where this guy comes from.
Okay.
So I guess that was a follow up to him,
Right.
his story, because that would.
Because he was working with the really creepy guy, the creepy old guy that's like, "Show me the baby."
So wait, where is this in the regular Star Wars timeline? Is this
This is
before or
after Return of the Jedi, but before any of that sequel stuff with Rey and all that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe they're gonna make clone Grogu's. Sorry.
Melanie brought up a great point.
You'd think we would see them, but
Yeah.
you would have thought we'd seen Grogu in the prequels if he was a big deal.
I want to know what Grogu's. Melanie brought this up. I want to know what Grogu's Mandalorian helmet will look like,
Yeah.
because it's going to be weird.
It's gonna have
Can't
to
look
be
like
weird.
the other
It's
ones.
Gonna have to have flaps. Gonna have to have his ears coming out because
Yeah.
you're not covering those up.
This show just gets so much mileage off of like Grogu barely being a proper puppet walking around, because it just looks
I
so
love it
cute.
so much.
But it's also
Yeah.
like he's just so like.
It's like,
Yeah.
and you're just like, this kid's gonna get trounced, and then he's just like, nah.
You can see him jump really high. It totally.
Yeah.
The Weird Al song kept playing in my head. I'm like, yeah, lift up some rocks and jump. And
Oh yeah, Yoda, Yoda,
Yeah,
yo Yoda.
Yep.
I enjoyed it though. I will say there's some ridiculousness, and it's fine. It's Mandalorian and it's adventure, but like the kid that got stolen by the bird,
Oh yeah,
he's fine. Was he in the stomach like all night? Is it because he's got the
like,
Mandalorian?
how long
gear?
has he been in there? And why did he have to be regurgitated? Like it was carrying him in his claws. And at what point did he decide, I'm gonna have to swallow this kid so I can regurgitate him whole later?
And what's the point of doing the swallowing and regurgitation if it's going to be whole? The whole point with feeding baby birds is you chew it up and then they spit it out.
Right.
It's because they ain't got no hands. Where else are they supposed to keep that stuff? They don't have pockets. I mean, you
But
gotta swallow it.
she carried it for miles and miles and miles in its feet hands.
I thought it was a stretch that she followed it to where it was and then came back to rally the troops. And I'm like, that kid's going to be dead.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't even that. Then they went and then camped out all night before climbing up. And it's like, that kid is for sure dead. There's no reason that kid would still be alive.
Oh, why is he dead? Then they find the heat signature, and it's the baby birds. I'm like, oh, that kid's long dead.
He should have been.
It started regurgitating it, and I think Melanie, and rightfully so, still thought, oh, that's sad. That kid's definitely dead, because she had a
Right.
reaction of like, aw, like, you poor kid. And then he comes out whole, and he's fine. It's like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Bo-Katan, you're a hero. No, you're lucky. The luckiest.
There is some prime stupid in this episode, because the bird takes the kid. They chase it with the jetpacks. Both their jetpacks run out, and the guy says it gets away every time. Why did you try chasing it with the jetpack first off, there's an every time, so this happens often. It gets away every time. What's the point of even trying if it gets away every time?
Right.
Why do you ever come out of the cave?
Don't shoot the
Right.
kid. Don't shoot the bird. You might injure the kid. Let it fly away. We're going to chase after it knowing it's going to get away every time. And then we don't know where it lives.
Oh, and don't shoot it. But then let's go and harpoon it and like whatever. How is that gonna hurt the kid any less? You know what I mean? It's dumb.
It was a fun episode. Like that. That whole scene with the harpooning. Like it was a fun sequence. But man, there was some prime kind of stupid
Yeah.
logic in there.
Although I think it would be fun to harpoon a bird like that and then just swing around. You know what I mean? Or it's not a bird, but whatever it is, it's a dinosaur thing. Yeah.
It is basically a bird.
So I want to know what this conspiracy is that's going on, like, because that chick obviously killed that scientist for a reason, and I want to know what it is. What's she hiding? What are they trying to hide by killing him?
I did enjoy that. Like he's like, oh, it's a mind flayer, and he's like, and the one guy's like, it's not a mind flayer. This is the what is it? What are they? Republic. The Republic.
The New Republic, yeah.
This is the New Republic. It's not a mind
Yeah.
flayer. It's a
Oh,
this, and it's
man,
like no,
so
it's totally just.
dystopian. Oh
yeah,
my god!
yeah, it's really good.
New boss, same as the old boss, kind of stuff. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, this is such an indictment of all governments everywhere, all the time.
Yeah.
It's some good, albeit on the nose, but good. Like, yeah, it's classic sci-fi political commentary, really, or social commentary, whatever. And then you get to the next episode, it's like that kid's not still alive in the bird's mouth all night.
Yeah.
And we're gonna do like a automated hammer. An automated hammer is going to hypnotize Grogu into a flashback where Jar Jar Binks saves his life.
Wait, did he?
What?
That was Jar Jar Binks,
Where? I didn't even know.
the Jedi that saved his life when he went up the elevator. That was Jar Jar without flappy ears.
Oh,
What, really?
Yeah, that's the actor
I didn't know that.
playing another
Oh.
role. Yeah, Jar Jar got some redemption.
That's cool.
Okay.
And
Well,
do you know who directed that episode?
Oh, we. Yeah.
I did. I
Yeah.
noticed that. Carl Weathers?
Yeah, Apollo
I was-
flipping Creed.
I was like,
Forget
what?
you,
He directed
Rocky.
that?
Little redemption all around.
I was very surprised to see his name in that credit. I was like, oh, I
Yeah.
didn't know he directed stuff. That's cool. And it was good. It was
Aside
well
from
directed,
stupid
fun action.
bird logic, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he didn't necessarily write it, so I won't
Yeah.
fault him for that. So
Right.
that's whoever okays the scripts. Is that Favreau? John Favreau, is that you?
Stop playing with toys to come up with stories.
Also,
I got the boy. He
well, at
always
least
gets
it wasn't
away.
Robert Rodriguez and a bunch of like super colorful 50s hyper bikes,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Ridiculous nonsense
The
from Book of
mods.
Boba Fett. They were so out of place.
Oof. They might as well have been hyper-colored.
I don't even care. It's not that like we're jumping to a totally different thing, but it's not even just that like I don't care if it's like, oh, it doesn't fit Star Wars. It just didn't fit the setting of the show
Right.
going on.
Right.
Yeah. I didn't hate that show either. I kind of
No.
liked it. But, like, I went from Dancing with Wolves to whatever that was, and I was like,
Yeah.
what?
Speaking of, though, to mush some stuff together, Disney's got to have its own AI bot thing that it's got that to do stuff. Right?
Oh,
It's
they'd
got
be
to.
fools not to. They're going to have the Pixar bot. Pixar
Yeah.
Maybe
bot.
that's why there's like such like tonal shifts where like there's little chunks of packets of things that work well, and then it's like totally on some other thing.
Yeah.
Like,
Welcome to Disney. I am the Imagineer. I can't do that, Hal.
I mean, well, what was it? I guess She-Hulk confirmed this
Right.
or whatever with the Feige
Right.
bot or what Kevin, whatever they called
Kevin.
it.
No one gets to see Kevin.
But
Speaking of if you're done of words
That's amazing.
that are words that come from that are actually an acronym. Lasers are pretty amazing, and they're about to get even more flippin' amazing because an international group of researchers has successfully manipulated quantum entangled photons. So we've been entangling atoms for a while, but photons have been harder. But now they have accomplished it by using the same methods that they use to make lasers, basically. That may be a little bit more scientific than that, but that's close enough. And then the researchers they shot like one single photon, and then they shot a pair of entangled photons, and at like a little quantum dot that they were watching, and they were able to measure the difference in the arrival time, which is nuts. So now they're going to have lasers with the ability to what's the word I'm thinking of? To like sense or to register quantum changes. So it's gonna be I mean, it's not there yet because they have to make it commercially available, but it's going to lead to breakthroughs in everything, like medical imaging, communications, quantum computing, astronomy, like anything that uses lasers is gonna, because they're gonna be able to control the individual photons now instead of like just like a whole stream of them. It's like we can't even imagine the kind of things that are gonna come from this. It's freaking amazing. Everybody should be amazed about that. Quantum sensitive lasers. That's nuts.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, this is kind of a difficult one to wrap the mind around and like, in use for use case. I don't.
Well, think of it this way. Like, okay, so you know how they have that what is it called? The thing that shoots down lasers from space and it maps the ground. And like
right.
we found hidden cities and stuff like that. We'll be able to do that at at atom level.
Oh, okay.
For
okay.
everything. And so the precision of them is going to be nuts. And we're going to be able to use that for like in people's bodies. We're going to be able to do the Star Trek thing where basically we scan them and know everything that's wrong with their body.
Oh, is that what they were talking about on that podcast?
No, it's not. They were talking about the technology to just have like they were just talking about having it on your phone where you could have your body scan it and then just be like boop, because it'll have little dots on everything that where you were injured or whatever, where previous work has been done. That's just programming. That has nothing to do with imaging. This is gonna revolutionize everything. I'm so excited for it. Everybody should be if they know anything about lasers and how they work.
Hey, Bigness, this stream is for you or not. That's who our stream's for. Who is the stream for? That's a good question.
It's for us.
Really, it is. It's for us. That's like a comment where it's like, if we were talking about quantum lasers and then sports and then 16th century history and that, like, I don't feel like we're that. I feel like talking about Mandalorian and AI art and quantum lasers, I mean, it's maybe a little weird, but I don't feel like there's that big of a leap between those topics. They all kind of tie into each other.
Well, and I figured quantum computing and AI goes together, and also being able to laser image so precisely like anything and then have that scan go into a computer, that's also, in my opinion, going to have a big implication on anything to do with AI art in the future. If I can scan an item and know like every inch of it topographically, that's nuts.
They're going to look in your homes.
They already can, so don't even go there.
I know.
Yeah, they have. I already told you about that, didn't I? The scientists have actually done this, where they use the Wi-Fi signals that bounce against each other, and they can map your home already.
Right.
Ban TikTok then.
Yeah.
Ban TikTok.
Well, I mean,
that's timely.
Who is this stream for? This stream is
for you,
people.
Bigness.
Listen, Jesse's Bigness. That comment really kind of like, really? I mean, listen, there are episodes where I totally get it, where we are all over the place. But I feel like this episode, it's tame. It's tame.
We're mostly on topic.
So the last few episodes, Jesse has been pushing, for some reason, for Magic Spoon.
Oh, yay!
We don't have Magic Spoon here because they're not. We're not a sponsor. They're not sponsoring us. But Melanie picked up, I don't know where or why. How about some incredible? Hey, Magic Spoon, you want to sponsor a little Grawlix podcast? We'll get rid of this box, and this could be your box here. Incredible. Sounds a little bit more magical than Magic Spoon to me.
That could be Magic Spoon. It's not. It's incredible.
It's incredible. Which I think I was curious. I was curious about, like, same with Magic Spoon and these like weird little pop-up, like, it seems weird, pop-up cereal brands all of a sudden. Who who makes these? Like, are these like mom and pop cereal companies? Like, those don't exist, right?
No.
And I looked it up, and the company that owns this is Post Holdings. So I'm like, oh, that's probably Post.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
you would think, right?
Right. I mean, it's not anywhere on the box. I had to do internet search, but
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
by the way,
Makes me
this
wonder who Magic Spoon is.
this is really good. Yeah, right.
good.
I'm curious about that too. Pretty good. Keto friendly. We're not sponsored, but we could be by
could
maybe
be.
this company, maybe Magic Spoon. We don't ever talk about. We won't even talk about that ever again.
You know, we're not
Magic Spoon?
sponsored, but we are affiliates with Humble Bundle. And right now, Humble Bundle is running another one of their incredible sound bundles where you, if you're a content creator of any kind and you thought, I really need some cinematic bed music, hop on that Humble Bundle. You know how you can get there? grawlixpodcast.com/humble.
What is
Humble.
cinematic bed music? Cinematic bed?
I
Yeah.
You know what it sounds like.
It's like
It's like ooh, cinematic bed music.
I don't know which genre that one is, but yes.
that's great.
No, it's like basically music that goes under a scene or something or whatever.
That's an industry term.
It's a bed.
And now I wonder why it's an industry term. Where'd that industry term come from?
You're right, though, Jesse. You should go to. Well, they got a Goosebumps collection.
There's a couple of content creator bundles actually happening right now. Some of them are for more like software type of stuff, where if you want to edit, I think video and that kind of stuff, they have a bundle that has that kind of stuff, and then they have another one that is for like sound.
Well, maybe Dungeons and Monsters 3D printable asset bundles.
What if you had a 3D printer and you wanted your AI to make some stuff? That's relevant to what we talked about.
Photo graphics bundle. Basically, when we run out of things to bigness, this is for you. When we run out of things to say, we then start hawking some stuff.
Yeah.
Whether it be companies that have no affiliation with us, who probably don't care if we're talking about them.
Right.
Like this one. It's pretty
Who
good.
is this stream for? It's for people who like cereal. It's for people who like things that Humble Bundle does. It's for, the everyman, the working man, the podcasting man.
Yeah.
I mean, that's who we attract, is people who are like, I bet I could start a podcast.
And we're like,
And
yeah,
probably-
Yeah. And mostly men and Savannah.
Yeah. But Savannah,
true.
she's very assertive for a woman.
Right.
Mostly men and Savannah, but Savannah's very assertive for a woman.
That's who this stream is for. We're not defensive. We know gets about Wu-Tang Clan.
Yeah. A little bit.
This stream is for people who have been listening to us for 7 years now and know all of our inside It's All Pizza random references, cat
was.
dancing, bat dancing, you don't know gets. If you don't understand that, maybe the stream's not for you.
Yeah.
Or you
and
just
maybe-
haven't caught up.
And maybe you want to be a spider buggy.
Yeah.
Maybe you do. Maybe you do.
And to do that, you can go back and listen to our backlog of episodes. That's 7 years long, apparently. And you can find that on our webpage, grawlixpodcast.com, or you can go to Patreon and become a, what do you call it?
A patron?
A
A
patron.
supporter?
Yeah.
And,
it's all
and-
pizza for $1.
And you can get all of that and all of our pre-shows that we used to do. So you will know everything about us.
This is why we don't attract new listeners. Our only listeners know all this stuff because
Yeah.
they used to listen to us. I don't know where they're at tonight. They happen to not be here. They usually are, I swear. But
And the people who ask us questions get a passive-aggressive response.
yeah, that's why we don't have new listeners. Hey, who is this stream for? F you, buddy. Who isn't it for?
Yeah.
It's for you. It's for you.
Yeah.
And it's for fun. And it's
Yeah.
all over the place.
And inevitably, my favorite part is the last 10 minutes where we just go off the rails anyways. So,
Right. If you figure out who the stream's for, you tell us, okay?
yeah, we'll try to
We're
market
curious
to them.
too.
we'll try to market to them specifically. We'll try to sell some cereal to them.
Well, hey, it's been a show. We're gonna wrap this up before 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Sure
everybody.
showed me.
Hey, you guys got anything you want to mention before we get out of here? You got anything going on? Anything, something? Any somethings?
Nothing super timely. I do have a show coming up in April, but that's in April, and this is March.
Yeah. But March
That's
is going
then,
real
and
fast.
this is now. It is.
It really is. It really is.
Yeah, I don't really have anything going on either. I have almost another album's worth of music.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, I've been on a kick. Been on a kick here and there. Not working on a ton, but I switch out things. I switch out hobbies. Melanie's like, and then I got to hear about this thing for 3 months.
It's not the ADHD. It's creative.
Yeah.
I'm a creative, okay?
Right.
I mean, I can't say anything. I've got like 14 different crafts I do, so,
Yeah, she just doesn't try to then promote those crafts to everybody.
Right. She does them for actual stress relief and not to sell.
Right.
Yeah, so selling them would be way too stressful. That just wouldn't work.
That's fair. Yeah, it sucks. It's really bad.
All right, everybody. Well, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Yeah, Grawlixpodcast.com, as we mentioned earlier. And we do this pretty much every week. The stream's for you. Are you watching? Then it's for you. That's what it should be. Are you watching? Bigness? It's for you. You're here. It's for you.
It's for you.
I wonder how they found them. How'd they find me? Anyway, all right. Bye, everybody. Have a great weekend.
Bye.
You're the best.
Mwah.
The best.
Oh, wait, I haven't ended the broadcast yet. What do you guys think about Justin Roiland? Like, I'm like,
Oh, yeah, I got away with it, huh?
not what I was expecting.
I love the last 10 minutes. What can I say?
Not what I was. I seriously, listeners, I hit end broadcast, but you got to hit it twice to actually end it. We're still going. Yeah. So he's not getting charged. I know there's a bunch of other like things out there about him, but
Allegedly.
he still got fired from everything. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Money can make you anything possible. Look at Trump.
I think you're right. I think the other stuff is like, because if he didn't get charged, it's like I don't know if he did those things that there was a lawsuit about. I can't say, so I can't necessarily judge him for doing it or not. He technically, like by the law, he didn't do it, whether that's right or wrong. I do know that like that's not the only thing people have about him. Like I've seen screenshots of messages, and they were pretty bad. But were they actually his? I don't know. It's the internet. You can't trust anything. Even if you see a video at this point, you can't trust that video. So, man, I don't know. I guess it's not a thing we have to worry about. He's fired.
Right.
Did you say something? You're muted.
I was saying that AI art, man, it'll pretend to be everybody.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. And it will pretend to give you really good pizza place recommendations. Oh, boy.
There were some choice AI-generated Trump getting arrested pictures on Twitter.
Ooh, I bet.
Choice. And I know people are using that already as like AI art misinformation, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, sure.
Yeah.
But that said,
They were
they
good.
were real good. They were real
Yeah.
good. Okay. That's all. Just want to leave you on that note. Bye, everybody.